Was Jose Mourinho right about Manchester United? Hey guys, Finn here. That is of course FYNN, and today I'm just going to be talking about Manchester United, the current state that we're in, what I think we should do next season, and just an overall summary of the season alone. Okay, so I think it's an understatement for us to say that we are extremely disappointed with how this season did turn out for Manchester United. It is not what we expected, and we just, as a Manchester United fan, I think we were way below par, and we have to do way below what we were expected to do, and we really need to improve for next season. Now, of course, we had two managers this season, Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If we kept Mourinho, would we have done better than what we currently did towards the end of the season? I don't think so. I think we had that really good long run of a winning streak or an unbeaten streak, and I think that was caused by the happiness and the pure determination to win once we got a new manager. I don't think we would have made the Europa League spot if Jose Mourinho stayed. I think we probably would have, I don't know if I would even say 8th, if we kept Jose Mourinho. Was he right about the players? To a degree, yes. I think there were so many problems. Once again, he called out Pogba, he called out whoever, and there were major problems in the team. And I think he was right about the attitude of the team. But overall, I think it would have been a mistake if we did keep him, so I'm glad we got rid. And then we ended up getting Solskjaer. I mean, was Solskjaer the best option after that? Probably not, but I think bringing in an old boy just brought in so much potential and so much oomph to the team that we could actually push. And at the end of the day, it's not really working anymore, and you have to see whether he really just puts down his foot and says, you know what, listen to me, this is what we're going to do. And I think the big problem here is Manchester United players don't respond well to criticism. I think they've done that all since they've gotten all of the managers in the post-Ferguson era, but in a total grand scheme of things, they were doing well under Solskjaer, but once they had a bad performance and then Solskjaer said something about them, once he said they needed to improve and they needed to work on something, the players kind of lost interest and said, you know what, no, because now I have to fight for my spot. And I think that's also a huge problem when it comes to Manchester United. There needs to be more competition in certain areas. That's why when you see huge teams like a Manchester City, they've got so many great wingers and midfielders. That's why they do well, because they have to fight to keep their spot. We here are seeing, let's use an example of Ashley Young. Ashley Young knows he's going to get in the team anyway, even though he's had such a crap season. But he knows he's going to get in the team anyway. Where you get young Dalot on the right back, and you know Dalot's going to do super well when he comes on, because he knows he needs to be able to fill in that position and do super well to be able to break into the first team. That's the difference. He fights for it, and that's why he does well. It happens with most Manchester United positions that they end up fighting well to be able to do that. Okay, now obviously moving on a bit from that, they did have our award ceremony the other day. Luke Shaw, player of the season for Manchester United. I agree with that 100%. It's either him or Lindelof. I think those were my main two. You guys can tell me who your guys' main two were. And I even put Shaw on the bench of my Premier League team of the season prediction, which if you guys haven't seen, guys, check that video out. You can see who my Premier League team of the season was, which I did make a few weeks back. So obviously one or two things have changed, but you guys can check that out. But yeah, I think Luke Shaw was one of those players who, he scored his first goal in the first ever senior goal in the first game this season. And I think that's very well done by him. And I think he's the one player you see every game. He runs up and down, and you just see him strive and push for Manchester United. He doesn't give up. He doesn't get tackled, sit on the floor, throw his arms up and say, ref, come on. He fights the whole game, and this has been his best season by far. Look, not staggering numbers when it comes to assists, only 4 assists this season, but in the grand scheme of things, he did so well. And then you get people online saying, oh yeah, but he's fat, oh yeah, but he's... So he had such a great season. Why? It doesn't matter what he looks like or what. I mean, he's not even fat. I mean, that's his past. But like, I think in our grand scheme of things, he's our hardest working player, and he was our player of the season. So how can we criticize him for that? He pushed harder than most players on the team, and he's the one player I know as a definite we're going to keep. I think there's so many. I wouldn't be surprised if any other player in this team was sold after the transfer season, bar maybe a Lindelof or a Rashford. Those are the only guarantees I know will stay this season, I think. Okay, but Shaw fought this season, and I have to definitely say he's just well done to him. And when it comes to captaincy next season, I think Shaw could really be high up there on the list. Mostly because I think the other players are too young, or they haven't been at Manchester United long enough, or they don't have the right attitude. And to be honest, I don't know if I can see De Gea being captain. I'd love to see him as captain, but I don't know if he's got that ability. I think a player like Shaw could be, because he's dedicated. You guys can tell me who you want as captain down below. But last game versus Cardiff in the season, and we are going to be playing lots of youth. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said we are going to be playing players like Greenwood most likely. We're probably going to play Chong. We're probably going to play a bunch of youth players. And if they do well at the end of this season, if they do really well, look, we're not going to get that 5-1 win that we got earlier this season. But I think it's great that we're bringing youth in, because let's be honest, fourth, we literally can't get fourth. Seventh isn't going to catch up to us. We could get fifth though. Now, does fifth matter to me? I think fifth matters to me just from a pride point of view. The fact that if we just sit here in sixth, it's really embarrassing, because it means we've just made it. And I think we are very lucky to be in a Europa League spot. I think we don't deserve it at all. But I think we really need to fight for at least the fifth, just for a pride point of view. And I think bringing youth could really just boost that potential and really show some stuff. And obviously it's Valencia's last game probably for Manchester United. Should he play? I would say yes, because let's be honest, he can't do worse than what Ashley Young is doing. Get Ashley Young off, and if Valencia is fit enough, put him on and give him the captaincy for a farewell game as a sending off. I think he deserves that. As I said, he is our most loyal Manchester United player still in the club. And I have made a video about the most loyal player in each Premier League club. You guys can check that out as well. But overall, I think they need to play him, and it might be Herrera's last game as well. We don't know, which I find ridiculous that we don't start him, because if we kept Herrera, because he's probably going to end up moving to PSG at the end of the season, because we weren't smart enough to re-sign his contract, which, is beyond me. I don't know why we wouldn't, because, and Herrera's probably our hardest working player when he does start, but he doesn't get started enough. I think Herrera's probably, as I said, our hardest working player, probably our best player, the player who really has Manchester United at heart. But if he leaves, it'll be very sad. So hopefully we do get news if this is his final game and his sending off. Transfer-wise, I think, we're looking at Swansea's Daniel James. I don't think that's the best thing in the world. They're saying, he could have so much potential for the future. And let's be honest, we're not going to be competing for a top spot. We're not going to be competing to win the Premier League for quite a few years. I can't see that happening. I think we're going to have patience, and we're really going to have to just grow our team, and we're going to have to invest, as Solskjaer said, into players for the future. And I don't think Daniel James is probably the best option. Look, definitely young, he can be part of our future. But when I think of young players that could be part of our future, you think Sancho, who's already a really well-known household name in the world of football, still super young. You can do that, and he's young, and he can be part of the future, and he's already good. We don't have to grow him that much more. Or you do Wan-Bissaka at the right-back position. You can grow him like that. Or, players like that, if you understand. Or even a Ruben Neves from Wolves. He's great, he's still young, and he's really grown into his boots. We don't have to say, give him 3-4 years and he'll be able to maybe break into the starting lineup. Okay. Now, just talking about everything else, I think Eric Bailly, they're saying he's out for the rest of the season, okay, with injury. And he's probably, they say he might move to Arsenal. I think that's such a stupid, idiotic move to be able to give one of our really high potential, great centre-backs who struggled slightly with injury to a really direct rival. I think that's so dumb. We did that with Mkhitaryan, and look, he hasn't been great at Arsenal, but against Manchester United he's caused problems, and it really shows us that it's such a bad idea to give it to a direct rival. And in terms of the centre-back position, if he leaves, or if Jones and Smalling leave, I would bring in Tuanzebe back from Aston Villa. We have sent him out on loan. I think he could be a crucial part in the Manchester United's lineup, and I think he's got that hunger to get into the first team because he's been part of Manchester United so long. He's got Manchester United at heart, and I think that's what we need. If we're going to use youth, use our own youth, use players that have been part of our system for a long time and that really show great potential. I think Axel Tuanzebe from Aston Villa would be perfect for that in the centre-back position. Young, English, part of our future. Otherwise, guys, that has been it. Don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. Grow this channel a bit more. Thank you so much for everything that you guys have done for me and to grow this community. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. This has been Finn, FYNN. Stay awesome.